Pam, 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 pam. This warehouse is large. It would be an adventure for me. I was professionally trained. Now, the most important thing, Benelli TRK500. The most popular motorcycle in all of Motorland. If he doesn't win, he doesn't win. But if he wins, he will seal his dominance. Hi, it's me, Andrzej. There's this company, a Polish company. Polish companies interest me. Because you know what? When I look at them, it's proof of our Polish entrepreneurship that exploded in the 90s. We're at the company Motor-LAND Dziekanów, which since 91 has been in the motorcycle industry. And when I look at the list of motorcycles and parts that you all know, I'm impressed that it all fits. As it turns out, it's not all in just one hall, because there are actually many more warehouses. We'll take a tour of the company, see what they offer, what brands they might surprise you, where do the parts in your motorcycles come from. But most importantly, there will be a racing element. After all, there always has to be a racing element, because that's what I do. Come on inside. The company was founded in 1991 by Tomasz Kuzior and Zbigniew Hebda. To this day, they are the owners and they manage everything. The 90s, that was really the stage of trading spare parts for motorcycle, scooters, literally anything with wheels. A major milestone for the company was the year 2001, when they became the distributor for the Kimco brand and D-chains. D-chains, each of us knows what a D-chain is. At some point in our lives, each of us wanted to have one, or still wants to have a D-chain, because they're simply the best, or they just have the best reviews. Kimco is very similar. It took the market by storm, and after a few years, reached new sales records. It's not surprising at all, but now it's not just about Kimco. So first, let's take a look at the motorcycles, because after all, motorcycles are what interests us the most. And later, we'll also see what parts you can find at Motorland, and I'll literally go shopping. From my perspective, Kimco is above all one of the best scooters you can buy downtown, right? This is the new one, the cool off-road agility 125, which once topped our 125cc test. So Kimco has always been super strong in scooters, and it's also really strong in ATVs. You know, I'm not much of a quad rider, but I'll definitely give it a try. What would life be without a race? Recently, I did some comparative tests of different ones, motorcycles at Driveland, and today we're going to set a record at MOTOR-LAND Dziekanów. Because there are so many different vehicles at Motorland, I got a selection of all sorts, and I'm going to do laps around the hall to see which one is the fastest. We're starting with something I really don't want to ride at all, which is a quad. First up, the Kimco MXU 550 EPS, which is a quad. I think I'll switch to two-wheel drive instead of four. Professional timekeeping. It starts up in a weird spot. You put it in H, turn on the GoPro. I need it. Definitely a sport quad. 34.200 is a good time. That's a very good time. This is a really interesting option, the Benelli. We know that this is an Italian brand that was taken over by the QJ Motor Group 10 years ago. And at that point, this happened because the Benelli TRK500 is currently one of the best-selling motorcycles in Europe. Since they have an Italian brand, a large part of the project management is still in Italy. The motorcycles are affordable, reliable, and simply good. Overall, I have the distinct impression that Motorland's extensive lineup truly consists of a wide variety of motorcycles and scooters that are perfectly and ideally suited to our specific Polish market, to our unique Polish reality. This is because these particular brands are certainly not overly expensive, but they are also not too cheap either. In the sense that all of these are machines that demonstrate good quality and allow people, when they buy them, to simply use them without having to worry about anything really. So it's a great balance between price and quality. Currently, from what I know, there are probably over 150 at one point. 150 dealers in Poland have equipment that comes from the Motorland company. Of course, there are exceptions. The Benelli Tornado Naked T 125, which people still buy from time to time. Super funny, super interesting little motorcycles. One of Benelli's advantages is that it has a very wide range of models when it comes to engine capacities. Because we have 125, 250, 500, and soon the 750S will also be available here. And all of this means that everyone can find something for themselves, in addition to the packaging from classic to sporty, through touring, and so on and so on. What's important is, what is the purpose of this place, this showroom in Dziekanow? This is not a dealership, no. This is a place where you can, for example, come and test out the equipment. There are a lot of them here. Practically all the motorcycles are registered. So if you arrange it in advance, you can come here and take, for example, a Benelli, a Kimco, or a Keyway out for a test ride. There's even an off-road track here if you want to try out a quad or something from the range of off-road motorcycles, which I'll show you in a moment. You can test it all out here. And then you can buy it from whichever dealer you prefer and have it serviced at the dealer that suits you best. I have the chance to take a ride on the Benelli Imperial. Lechu once rode this and said it's like the perfect Junek for the 21st century. He said it doesn't accelerate or brake at all, but it's awesome. We'll see. The throttle responds incredibly quickly, almost like crazy. And the suspension feels super comfortable, absorbing every bump with ease. Here we have Keyway, a brand you probably already know very well since it's been around for many years. On the market, they have smaller motorcycles, 50cc, 125cc, but that's changing too. Just look here. The Keyway brand has created its own new brand, MVP. And look, this is a cruiser with a 1000cc engine, 93 horsepower, 100 Newton meters of torque, upside down suspension, J1 calipers, which is a manufacturer that produces calipers for a lot of different motorcycle brands. The cruiser Taish with a huge rear tire. Here, the 650 VSO. Look, there's actually quite a lot going on here. Another important thing happening here is the presence of new scooters. New is a Chinese brand, but very much a startup, as you can see, with a very original design. An interesting fact is, I don't remember the exact order, but I think the president of New is the former president of Huawei. So this is a brand very focused on innovation, which is why these have SIM cards. These devices also include electric scooters in their lineup. So, you know, this whole electromobility thing, we all kind of approach it with hesitation. But Motorland is already on it. They already have it in their offer. They're keeping the finger on the pulse, because if it turns out there's suddenly a huge boom for electric devices, they'll simply be ready. As you can see, even Keyway more electric vehicles, this time from Keyway. You know, these are machines you can simply use in the city, in a big city. And Smoke and I are the best example that we like unusual things to get around. And the real number one is Lek, who doesn't turn his nose up at anything electric. He just likes zipping around the city on these things. But when it comes to experiments, just take a look. You know, a big company that wants to grow has to experiment. And here we see motocross and enduro bikes. So in the future, we can definitely expect many more interesting ones. Marek and many interesting motorcycles from Motorland. Attention, a Zuma type cross bike with, I don't know, but probably a 450cc engine. What? Because it's got power. It's powerful. You can see my smile because you already know that I'm both a motorcyclist and recently I've become a cyclist. And listen up, my first proper bike was a Marine. I went to Affix on Father's Day to buy myself a bike, about practically. Yes, and I totally got hooked on these bikes. And I think it's also partly thanks to the bike. Yesterday, I literally set my new personal record at the track in Poznan. But I'll tell you about how that happened some other time. Marine is a Californian-American brand, very popular in Poland since 2016 under the care of Motorland. And in 2019, they increased the sales of these bikes in the country several times over. In fact, the whole company has been on a roll in 2020 and 2021, because in each of those years, both in 2020 and in 2021, they achieved a 25% increase in revenue. So they're really moving forward when it comes to mountain bikes, electric bikes, gravel bikes, city bikes. You can find all of them here, one after another. And I keep encouraging you, you ride motorcycles and you ride bicycles. Both have wheels, but one of them does require a bit of training from you. This is a Marine, but I don't know which model it is. Anyway, it's an electric bike. They have electric bikes. They're light, so you can just hop on and off easily. And they have nice suspension, and you have to pedal, and then they go. But they are probably limited to 25 kilometers per hour, to be honest. 3, 1, go. Andreas, come on, it's abundantly clear now. You have definitively and undeniably lost this game. I have triumphantly and decisively won this round. 3, 2, 1, game over. The victory is mine. I finished the climb in over a minute, and the helmet guys did it in under a minute. Well, I tried my best after all. If it wasn't limited to 25, you'd be flying like crazy. I have to look good in the bike helmet, right? I don't know, I think I have some kind of fetish. Warehouse workshop style. Maybe it's because I like things. And here there are a lot of things, and you feel like a kid in a toy store. When it comes to motorcycles, there's a first need warehouse in Dziekanow, which serves the Mazovia region, test motorcycles, new models, and so on. The rest goes straight from the big warehouse in Gdynia to the entire dealer network. Once again, 150 dealers in Poland, motorcycle dealers, and 100 bicycle dealers. Not bad, but here's the coolest part. In a moment, you'll also see how many bikes are nicely arranged here. And it's really something. I'm excited, but in a moment we'll go shopping, see how the warehouse system works here, and find out what you can actually find here at Motorland and what is probably installed in your motorcycles from Motorland. Here we're moving from the parts of the warehouse dedicated to motorcycles. So as you can see, there's still new ones here. Benelli bikes. I actually noticed something cool here, because these are new electric ones. And as we move on, this is actually a workshop dedicated to electric batteries. And here in the box quick, there's an opening open to charge. The idea is that you can take care of the batteries while the vehicles are in the warehouse, and you have access to check the battery status, so you can top them up a bit if needed to keep them in good condition. And now we go there further to play with the part. Mike, look at this. Kimco AK550. Aha, indeed. Wow. 3, 2, 1, go. .95 PNM. What a bore. Here she comes. This will be an adventure for me. I have been professionally trained in the operation of the warehouse system, while everything is automated. Since 2014, if I remember correctly, the whole system has been running on a B2B platform, which means all dealers can log in and order something online. So it quickly enters the system, and then it guides through the warehouse using a scanner like this. And this scanner is just next level. It even gives you a preview of all the parts. It plans the route for us, determining in which order all the motorcycle components should be collected. And it simply keeps everything organized. So the person just walks along, click, 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 click. and we'll see if I can just handle this. And at the same time, we'll take a look at what's here. You can actually find all sorts of things in this warehouse. Here is our order printed out. The film is for Stuart Motorcycle, but the truth is this printout is just for reference because the entire order is actually here. See? So now my task is to handle this. There we go, my first catch. What many of you associate the most details. Yeah, no doubt about it. These are iconic, kind of legendary chains, at least when it comes to the Polish market, because I remember having ridden motorcycles my whole life. I always knew that DEET was, you know, the reinforced one, because there are also reinforced and regular versions, a Japanese brand made in Japan, so specifically DID chains. And as you saw, Motorland is the exclusive distributor of DID. So every DID chain you buy in Poland actually comes from this warehouse. Another sure thing, the brand, known to everyone, Sunstar sprockets. So sprockets that probably each of us has had on our motorcycle at some point, the front ones. I'm very emotionally attached to them because I always ordered Sunstar sprockets for my stunt bikes. If I needed to change the gearing a bit, you know, it's much easier to swap out the front sprocket. Plus one tooth, minus one tooth to change the riding characteristics of the motorcycle. I've really gone through a lot of these front sprockets, and even now, quite often in Supermoto, if I want to change the gearing, I swap out the front sprocket. I've got the front, I've got the rear, so now it's a complete set. Remember that when you replace the drive, you should also replace the sprockets, because you can buy the best chain in the world, but if you have an old sprocket, you'll ruin it. Your new chain, and the same goes the other way around. If you have an old chain and put on a new sprocket, you'll probably ruin that sprocket, so always replace everything as a set. Listen, this is really interesting because this is the other brand, Keyway, a different brand, but from the same factory. Big motorcycles. This is the MVP MS 500N, 2 cylinders in line, upside down suspension from J1, which means it's good. Colored display. This is its moment of truth, so we don't have to drag the scooter. 3, 2, 1, go. .16. Adam, what was your time? Could we have a new favorite? The fastest was 27.95. New leader, a 500cc naked bike, twin cylinder, is faster than the scooter around the Motorland hole. That's already some information. This warehouse is huge. I thought it would be a quick thing. I know how to do it. Listen, this is my new, another skill in life. I'm delighted. Listen, I was so happy that I found that part so far away. I didn't say what it is. This is actually an alternator for a Kimco. So as you can see, in this warehouse, there are both original and replacement parts for motorcycles, as well as consumable substitute. '08. 06. Maybe I should change jobs, you know? It relaxes me. What do I have? Westrock clutch discs. I've also used some of it in my life, but only operationally, because mind you, I can boast that I've never personally burned it. Clutch, if I remember correctly, I hope I'm not lying, but I don't remember burning it. Clutch, Westrock discs. Also from Motorland warehouses. All right. 2C08. 2C08. Ah. Braking brake pads. Arrow at Adam. Is that an arrow? Ha! Yes. Quantity to be issued. 2 sets, right? Because one set, remember, a set means a set for 1 caliper, not a full set. That means for 2 brake calipers. Braking brake pads. We also made material for the world. Motorcycles with a test of braking pads and discs. On my former, unfortunately now gone, Miss Gale 959 Corsa. We're going to get the piston, Meteor Piston 2E. RFN, RS, which is one of the electrical experiments. Attention, look here, see what's happening. The driving mode is rocket. Driving mode, rocket, right? One, start. Checks 158. That's a very good time for the RFN RS. I think this might be a record. 11.07. Attention, attention, attention. No, not the podium. Now, attention is the Meteor piston, which is for the CRF 250 motocross bike. I'll open it up to show you what the piston for the CRF 250 motocross bike looks like. In 250S, pistons are replaced quite often. So this is a good alternative, much better than the original, especially when it comes to price. And it works. The Meteor brand is also quite well known. So here's a piston for a motocross bike. You see the trick there are rings, a pin, a nice piece. 2F22. Hey, listen, it looks like I'm going to be rebuilding the CRF 250, which unfortunately might soon turn out to be necessary. In my CRF 250, which is actually kind of Jarex now already. Quick. That's it. Power Force, Motorland's own brand, which means spare parts for motorcycles. Here you see a complete gasket set for the CRF 250. Interesting, how did they know that I have a CRF 250? They probably didn't know, but the gaskets are nicely packed. I can move on. Does anyone here know how to start? Because this is dynamic, but I think there's something else. Sport. There's a sport mode. I'm riding on new. Am I saying it right? I'm riding on new. I'm riding on new. I'll be riding on new. 3, 2, 1, start. I hope at least I beat the quad, 35 to 41. So I don't know if I beat the quad, I don't know. I was scraping in the corners. Not enough ground clearance. The quad had 34, and this one has 35 to 41. What a betrayal. All right, only electric scooters now. And everyone has to know that by now. High flow oil filter. I don't know how many of these oil filters I've used in my life. You know, Motorland is the distributor of the high flow brand. These are filters that, I don't know if they're not the cheapest, but they're priced in such a way that buying them doesn't hurt your wallet, and they've never let me down. I use this kind of filter for motocross bikes, for street bikes, and it's always been fine. Also remember to simply change the filter every time you change the oil, because changing the oil without changing the filter. That's the biggest nonsense, and filters cost just a few to a dozen or a few dozen zlotys. More filters. Now, 2H10, the second half of 10. I'm really pondering what exactly will this turn out to be. It's quite a mystery, and I'm very curious to find out. Yes, AR air filter, same thing. High flow. Everything checks out. And 25, 0, 6. Because this is a windshield, it's for Honda Africa Twin. 8, 9, 0, 5, W. And this is what they gave me. Some things are bulky, but at least they're light. Where did I get this from? Here. Gee! Let's keep going. 2.35, 35, 0.5, 0.6. I've achieved another life success. I managed to put together the order by myself. Order. Finishing up with something truly beautiful, brake discs. I actually like this brand, they're cool. And the discs work great because I rode on the track with them and they're top notch. I'm stoked. This warehouse is nice, I like it. I could drop by more often. I just need to get better at carrying stuff out, I guess. Each of us would love to leave a motorcycle shop loaded up with new gear for our bike, right? I mean, who wouldn't? And here you can just walk in and get everything. Well, I think the completed order goes to the packaging department and ends up in the workshop, in your motorcycle shop, where you simply ordered it. Easy? Easy. Now something new. Kiwi Vasilia 125. 3, 2, 1, and go. $22,800. I see dredges. That's the most important thing. A little fun fact: there's a special separate building here where I get this batteries for electric vehicles are serviced, repaired, and built. If I'm saying this right, I didn't know it was possible to service them so effectively. Batteries, it's a process that honestly could be interesting enough for a separate video. But if you have a battery from some device, I don't know, a bike, a scooter, or something like that, and that battery stops working, for example, and you can't get a new one from the manufacturer anymore. As you can see, it can be repaired or serviced. All the cells are replaced. There are special machines that balance these cells so that they're paired and connected in the optimal way. It's super interesting, and I didn't expect that Motorland would have a place where they do a complete, comprehensive battery service for electric vehicles. Now, the most important thing, Benelli TRK500, that is the most popular motorcycle in all of Motorland. If it doesn't win, it doesn't win, but if it does, it will see its dominance. .4645 victory, you would have to have a TRK500, but this bike rides nice. Well, that was the motion, just as I thought. I mean, I was hoping for Benelli #1, second motocross, but it has no homologation, so it doesn't count. Kimco AK553. Motorland, very interesting. I wonder if I know of any other company that combines such a large number of original spare parts. And new combustion and electric vehicles. So as you have heard, you can drop by in Dziekanow to their showroom, make an appointment in advance to test the equipment, not only on that off-road loop, but in general, just to ride these motorcycles. That's it. Write to us. Greetings to everyone in the comments.